So I was teaching in Lisbon. I do these live meetups, and I was like, there's these 4 sets. There's your mindset, your people set, your tool set, and your skill set. And it became so helpful immediately for everyone to plan their sets based on their target, right? Based on their goals and their growth and the experiences that they want to have. That I just started calling it the 4 sets, and you'll see down here on our tab. So this is your clubthrive tracker, and on your clubthrive tracker, there's a number of tools at the bottom. This is the 4 sets one. Chances are, if you're here, you've already been in here and using it. I just want to mention that, like in strategy, 3-year vision, milestones, seasonal milestones, what I no longer do, 4 sets, examples, and then some tools that we'll use more in 6 are really super helpful. So, yay. Honestly, like one of my favorite things to do is when I do goal setting and planning, part of the planning is to get into like, okay, based on this goal, what do I need to believe? That's mindset. Like, what are the assumptions I need to have? Who are the people that are most connected? What are the tools and what are the skills? And often the people are your chosen people because they have the mindset, or because they have the skill set, or because they have a particular tool set, or some version of all of that. So if we look at in the workbook, who are you influenced by? And this is currently, what you might notice is some of the people you're currently influenced by in your people set are actually really working against you. Whereas like some of the people that you might want to pull in to your people set, right? These are ones that are connected or networked. Their 5-person network, you also want to become aware of. So you'll put the 5 people that you're sensing could most influence your goal in the easiest possible or most fun way, or however you want to do it. And then who are they networked to? It's such a good strategic way to think about networking. It's not about using people. It's about getting that, like, oh, I'm actually going to bring something to their network and open up possibilities and potentials. And this is how it always works. This is what's really going on here. Okay, so to back up, you want to design your 4 sets, what, who, and how, to your target, because you want to love the journey. This is the tracker we just showed you. So mindset, what do you need to assume, believe, or experience your target, or to love the journey? Because for some people, it's like getting to the target, like but getting sick, or getting to the target, but it's the whole thing's a grind or a push, or you burn up your relationships. Like, that's not how to do it, right? So who will make it more enjoyable to learn the skill or to use the tool? What is the current and next level of development? You already know that based on your goal and based on your identity evolution worksheets over in the Club Thrive workbook. I'm taking a moment to identify, like, what are your next beliefs? What are your next assumptions? That can be very helpful. And then what are your outdated beliefs? It can be a great example, just like going through and being like, what did I used to believe that can't really be in the light of that goal? Just asking yourself, getting clear on that, and making sure that who you're influenced by and who shows up in your people set are not people with these outdated beliefs, but are really people that are at a higher order of living their life, are more, this is the idea of like when you get high, when you get above, the shaman can see more of the patterns, right? Can recognize more of the patterns. And in pattern recognition, more easy to identify a problem. So what is getting above it? What is the higher truth that you need to put in your mindset tracker, right? What needs to go in here? And you're just going to list these out. You're just going to actually fill this out. People set, we just covered this. One thing that I learned from Ryan Deiss of scalable.co, and his scalable.co is to help businesses get from 7 figures to 8 figures of gross revenue. And around stage 6 of his, I think, 7-step process is to form an advisory board. And it's such a great idea because you're saying, like, I want these people's advice. And so we have an advisory board. We have a meeting once a month. And I really think before these meetings of what do I want their advice on? And it's very much chosen on who they're connected to. So that they're connected to networks. So on these lines go networks, not just individuals, but could be networks or groups or companies or organizations. All right, let's look at skill set. So what skills do you need to experience your target and love the journey? What level of competence or proficiency do you know you need before beginning? Here's an example. I want to talk to scientists and doctors about urine therapy, particularly about aged urine. I cannot find any published studies on how urine changes in its chemistry, which is sort of bizarre. Because anyone who's aged urine knows that it's not the same as when it comes out of you. So I might be like, okay, I need to learn. If I go to I might need some people who know about biochemistry at the sort of cutting edge, epigenetic, reactive oxygen species, nitric oxide, at this level, people who are talking about this. And maybe I just need to follow these people on YouTube, and I'm going to learn some of their skills. And I'm going to use tools like periodic table and other tools of how to draw chemistry equations out. But I might decide, and there's a really good book by Josh Kaufman called The First 20 Hours, decide before exactly how proficient do I need to be. Do I just need to put 20 hours into learning organic chemistry? Or do I need more? So if I can decide that before, and that's part of the mindset that will go with that skill set, right? So the skill set would be understanding organic chemistry enough to interview, enough to actually understand why urine works in the epigenetic environment of cells when it's reintroduced into the body and how it changes it with the reactive oxygen species and methylation and demethylation and that sort of thing, because I don't really understand it at the level that I would like to. So then, right, I go here and it's like, well, to what degree do I need to know that? Because I do not have 2 years to go get, to go make up what I missed in college and in grad school in organic chemistry. So that's the first 20 hours, is really deciding how many hours do you want to put to using that skill or that tool. Some of you want to learn how to, I have a friend right now, she's 50 and she's learning how to ski. So she might say okay, beginner's mindset, people set. Well, we have this other good friend who's a really super patient ski instructor, and they're good friends. So she's like, oh, maybe I just need 5 hours with friend who's ski instructor with the mindset of we're going to be on beginner, and maybe I trade. Maybe I barter with her and give her some of my services, because friend A is amazing in holistic medicine. Friend B is a ski instructor. Easy trade, right? And what are the tools? Well, you need skis. You need skis to ski. But which skis? Because you could have 200 centimeter long skis, which on a beginner would be hell, where it's this gal needs 160 centimeter skis. So that's where you can get what's the proficiency? Maybe the goal by the end of the season is to do the beginner lift all by themselves and have a really good time. Now we have, okay, talk to the ski instructor, estimate how many hours it'll be to get to that. And there we go. That's all you really need. That's all you really need in light of your goal. Skills, I use YouTube Premium for. What is Premium? It's the paid version of YouTube. It's so that I can ask a how-to question without getting distracted by advertising. Distraction is enemy number one for a lot of us, myself included. So to get things done faster, I want to stay on track. So if I need to ask a how-to question to use a tool or a skill, great. Some of these people might even show up as my influencers because they're connected to other influencers who are also on YouTube. And that can be a really great way. My guess is with my biochemistry experiment, it'll be that. And I've invited my dad, who's 84, and he's it's like a project that we can do together. He's more of an engineer. He's an engineer by trade. He doesn't know much about chemistry, and he's like, I don't know this stuff. I'm like, I don't either. Let's learn it together. So then he would show up in my people set, right? We're going to follow the same influencers over here, right? And really start to learn it in a way that's useful for us with our medical history, with Lynch syndrome. Okay. So examples of this are, anything you're trying to get better at. Quarterly planning. You can watch a ton of videos on YouTube. Joint rehabilitation. I have my favorite physical therapists and all sorts of energy healers on YouTube. I start playlists on YouTube with them if they don't already have playlists, and I save that. So I use YouTube Premium like an expert. It's super well organized for me to find who I'm influenced by at a click. Some of you are following Movement Parallels Life. You're following this guy, as am I. So what'll happen is the more you curate YouTube, the more YouTube will curate for you. So you can see who you're influenced by your subscriptions, right? And then you can go to your library, you can go to your history, you can also design your own playlists. If I go to library, you're going to see my playlist. And here's all my playlists under library. I just clicked more. And then these are all my different playlists. And I have a lot. I've been doing this for a long time. But I actually probably should go through. Here's one on liberating structures. Here's one on learning to skate ski. Here's some on juice fasting. Here's some I had an ACL recovery at one point. EOS traction, this is business planning skills. Joe Dispenza meditation. Dreams, of when I'm working on my dreams, I just go here. And it's just anti-aging, bowspring, yoga practice, sales training. I share this with my sales team, but these are all personally cultivated playlists. Indy even got in on it with her floor music. Plant medicine. I might share a playlist with one specific person. That's in my people set. So like this one with soccer is shared with Indy because she's getting foot skills in soccer. So when you do this, and you can see a lot of people I've mentioned are like they're showing up in here. I mentioned Jim Rohn today. This yogi science, the Hindu yogi science of breath, this is now in your connected mind lessons. Because I listened to this yesterday and I'm like, it's so good that I put it in there with some markers around 1 minute and 15 seconds to get better at breathing skills, because a lot of you need to develop yoga skills, breath skills, mind skills, and they're all in this ancient book. This book, 1903, on these ancient teachings. It's not an ancient book, but it's based on ancient teaching. It's so good. It's so good. Who are you influenced by? What are the skills that you need? Who are the people that already have those skills? What are the tools that you need, right? And that's how you're going to organize this. So my suggestion to you, if we just look at where we're at, so target and SWOT, critical issues and strategy, 4 sets, and making your plan. If you do the 4 sets before making your plan, you just take a stab at it. You can't really mess it up. This will help who you want to be influenced by and who they're connected to. That'll help. Who you're currently influenced by may or may not help. Some of these people maybe have to go. And that's really your lesson, is just to go through, get in there, and to do that. Other tools, for example, apps, like say you need to learn an app, you might need to schedule like 3 or 4 hours. That'll become part of your plan. So if you know what tools you're going to need to hit your goals, really helpful. Sometimes power tools. So like this is kind of embarrassing. I feel like I do TMI with you guys all over the place, too much information. But like I need a bike rack I can take on and off my car by myself. And it's hard, like big heavy things. I'm like really not historically very good with power tools or with things that need to be put together mechanically in the mechanical world. I'm really good with apps. I can learn an app really fast. I can use a new like Miro.com or Monday.com, project management tools, like things to run my company. I can learn those pretty fast. Things that are intellectual, I can use pretty fast. Some of you need to learn how to use a foam roller. Some of you need to learn how to cook, right? There's tools. You might not have a one pot, you may have an instant pot or one pot or a pressure cooker, This morning I was using these cool fermentation lids, and it took me 10 minutes to learn, but like learning how to have a microbiome diet and prepare food for that, like that's a chunk, you guys. That's a chunk of time where you might be using soaking, you might be using fermenting, you might be using dehydrating so that you can optimize the amount of enzymes in your foods. Like there's things that you're going to need to learn. So you're going to want to bake that into your plan. The more you get, like, okay, it's going to take me an hour to figure out how these lids work. So I grated a rutabaga and I grated a turnip and I put some whey, curds and whey from yogurt, the whey, the liquid. I put some fermented sour cherry juice from my cherry tree in there with a little bit of sauerkraut juice so it ferment. And I screwed on one of these cool lids that lets the gases escape. I've never used it before. I'm experimenting with all these fermentation tools because I'm super focused on 100% proficiency with microbiome diet. Like I'm super committed to that in the next quarter. So on my plan, it's like, there's tools, right? There's skills. I can learn more about this stuff on YouTube. I can see who are the leaders. I can interview, for me, the experts, because I have a podcast. I can interview the experts on microbiome diet, and all that might go into a goal of 100% microbiome recovery. Yeah. All right. So other tools, some of you need to learn how to use Google Docs. Some of you need to learn how to use a project management app. Some of them are super simple, like Basecamp. Some of them are more complex, like Monday. So if you're running for yourself and your family, Basecamp's awesome. If you're running it for a team, Monday or something that's more complicated or more complex can help you with the complexity. Some of you need to learn how to use a spreadsheet, right? So that's another example. These are tools. There's skills involved with tools, but let's get really clear on what the tools are and make sure that in light of your goal, you have them show up in your tool set. That's it. Lots of resources below. Set yourself up. How do you need to optimize yourself, your thinking, and your behaviors? That's mindset. What tools, apps, etc. are essential? At which level of expertise is your tool set? Your people set, who has already arrived where you want to go? And skill set, what skills are essential? At which level of expertise? So go ahead and update your club tracker with your 4 sets. I just want to show you in the Club Thrive workbook. Some of these pages, you have it right here in the club tracker, but I know many of you would rather just actually print some of these exercises out. So there's 4 sets. Here's an exercise just on people set, and here's one on mindset, limiting belief, higher truth. And so those 3 can help you with this exercise. For those of you who get it, you might just go right to your spreadsheet. The reason I like the spreadsheet is it's easy to duplicate, so you can use it year over year and just get into a habit, and you can customize it, obviously, it's yours, do whatever you want with it. But you can get into the habit of having it always available online and not going back to pieces of paper, which can often help as you're moving stuff into a project management tool for efficiency. And we'll get into that a little bit more in course 6 around tools.